NBA playoffs are happening right now. It's the first round. We're going to be talking surprises, what we thought wouldn't happen that did, what happened that we didn't think would happen and did. Plus, all the other news going on in the playoffs right now. Are the Celtics for real, or is this just going to be another season like before? And can the Magic actually do the impossible and beat the Cavaliers? All this next on the Brick House. Welcome into the Brick House. Obviously, we're talking all that basketball news and analytics of the first round of the playoffs. But first, I want to give a big shout out to one of our affiliates, and that is Dubby. That is right. If you need a jitterless sports energy drink that doesn't have anything you don't want, everything you do want, Dubby is the one for you. Trust me, I love this stuff. I've already had 2 of their different flavors, both of them phenomenal. Right now I got the Calio cream, which is an orange creamsicle flavor. Love that shit. I mix it with orange juice in the morning. It's phenomenal. They use coffee bean extract, none of that sugar, none of that, artificial caffeine, none of that stuff. Straight from the bean, just like you would if you had coffee, but better flavor if you're not a coffee drinker. I drink both, so it doesn't matter to me. But go get yourself some W. They got all kinds of stuff: shaker bottles, clothes, gym bags, sticker packs, and they even have this nice aluminum 20-ounce tumbler that I got ordered. It's coming to the house soon. You'll see on these episodes real soon. But go to w.gg, use the code THEHOUSECALL, all caps, no spaces, THEHOUSECALL. Get yourself 10% off your order and get your energy on. We're going to get into the West right now, and we're going to start up top with the Thunder and the Pelicans. And we thought the Pelicans, as long as Zion was healthy, would be a test for a lot of teams. And the Thunder have shown that they studied for that test and are absolutely fucking acing it right now. They're 3-0 on the Pelicans, and we had the same questions about the Thunder that we had about the Orlando Magic. It's a lot of youth, not a lot of playoff experience. Can they stay focused? Can they keep the jitters out? Can they not get let the youth get to them? And the answer is yes. They have absolutely shown up in this series. It's the same team you saw in the regular season. It's insane. SGA is playing out of his mind. They got a full accompaniment of talent over there for him and the rest of that team, and they do it quietly. They're not a lot of talkers. They're not very vocal. They're not like in the news. They're not doing all that crazy shit. Realistically, you don't have that like polarizing player.
Right.
They just go about their business, man, and their business is winning. And right now they look scary. I think that I would love to see them and the Nuggets go up against each other. I just think that would be a great series. I think it really would be. But yeah, I think the Thunder, they're going to take this. I don't know if the Pelicans are going to let them sweep. I feel like they may come out in game 4 at home, backs against the wall, and just throw a haymaker and land one here and be able to push this to 5 games. But it would not surprise me if by, I'd say probably about 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, 10 p.m. tomorrow, the Pelicans are the first team to secure a second round ticket. I like the Thunder. Matt, who's on this segment with us a lot, he loves the Thunder. He's a big SGA fan. He thinks that the Thunder are up there. He thought they were going to have some youth issues and wouldn't quite see it. They didn't think this was going to be their year, but it's hard to argue with what they've done against the Pelicans. They're going to have a tough matchup with whoever comes out of the 4-5 matchup there, the Clippers and the Mavericks. A lot of star power in that game. Dallas is currently up 2-1, but I don't know, man. The Thunder, they're clicking on all cylinders, man. And this is the best team I've seen since the 2012, 2013, 2014 roster. And I think that how I said the Magic were back. Guess what?
Yes.
Oklahoma City, welcome to the show, baby. You're back too.
Yeah, I think that the Magic are the OKC of the East, just not on that level yet. I think they're gonna be there within the next 2 years. But the OKC, in my opinion, I don't think. Normally, I wouldn't say this. I think they're the only team where playoff experience doesn't matter. Though Lou Dort has some experience, and I think SGA might have been to a playoff before, but the rest of these guys, the fact that they don't have the experience, that the fact that they're naive to what playoff basketball is supposed to be, I think that it's going to propel them. I actually got the Thunder going to the West Finals. I think that they're one of the best defensive teams, in my opinion. Even if the numbers may not show, I think it does, but they can defend all 5 positions. Like you would think that teams could take advantage size-wise, athleticism, experience-wise, more so than athleticism-wise. But they can defend well. Like Chet Holmgren, I'm 6'2", 175, 180. So I'm a slim guy. So I like to see a guy like that's like 7 foot. He's like 190, 7 foot, which is crazy.
Yeah.
I like to see a slim guy. These guys can't move him. He reminds me of like a KG. Like he holds his position very well. Like Valanciunas, they didn't even play him in the second half or the fourth quarter against Chet. And I'm like, bro, if that was me, take this guy come on, bro. But
you got like 70 pounds on him, body.
You got like 70 pounds. And I think that is a beautiful thing. Even with Jalen, honestly, I would hate to see this happen as a Knicks fan, but I am the objective fan. If the Thunder could sign Isaiah Hartenstein next year and move Chet to the 4 and Jalen Williams to the 3, they will be a favorite to win the championship, because now they take away the size, any size issues that may be there, and I think that will come back to bite them against Denver. But any size advantage that you think you would have, it takes it away, and they still can maintain their versatility on the perimeter. I think that OKC are for real. I think that the Pelicans, forget about the Pelicans. Zion is not there. I think he would have made it more interesting, but I think OKC still wins because they have multiple guys that can defend on the perimeter, and Chet holding down the paint, which is crazy to me. Not to say there's not even a lot of paint threats out there. Because even if they are paint threat, more than likely they're also on the perimeter as well. So I think that OKC definitely is for real, and SGA should be the MVP. He doesn't have any help at all. No all-star caliber players. All these guys are young. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're doing whatever Coach Daigneault tells them to do. And it's a beautiful thing, and that's no offense to Jokic and Luka. They also had amazing years, but let's keep it real. They got the number 1 seed in the West with the least star power, right? Help wise. That's my take on OKC. Forget the Pelicans, they're done.
Yeah, Pelicans are cooked as a roasted bird right there, and the Thunder are going to the second round, probably in a sweep. So we'll go ahead and move on to the 4-5 matchup, who we're probably going to see. One of these teams will see the Thunder in the second round. And I was high on the Clippers at the beginning of the year. You were there. Everyone thought I was crazy. They can't stay healthy. And then they stayed healthy all year, right up until the last 4 fucking days of the regular season, and Kawhi goes down. Kawhi is back. They're down a game right now. They could be in a 2-2 tie. Once again, they actually play later today at 2:30. If the Clippers need this win to keep this series manageable, they go down 3-1. I don't like their chances. That being said, I liked the Clippers a lot. I still like the Clippers a lot. I thought this was going to be their year. They had 4-star, Hall of Fame caliber guys. I think we'll eventually we'll see all 4 of those guys in the Hall of Fame, bar none. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Right. Just for what they've done. Paul George may be the one who's the longest. We're gonna have to wait to get in there. Kawhi's done what he's done already. Harden is Harden. He saw the points totals, and then you have Triple Dub Russ, who is just an outstanding player and doesn't get enough credit for as good as he is anyway. Unfortunately, they're going up against a Mavericks team that has Luka, and Luka absolutely cooks the Clippers every chance he gets. It's I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a vendetta that he wanted to be a Clipper and they didn't draft him, and now he's a Maverick, and so every chance he gets, he's just going to ball out against the Clippers. That seems like a normal thing to have, but I mean, I want the Clippers to win this series, but it's the Mavericks. I think that Luka and Kyrie, I said it wouldn't work last year, and I was right. It didn't work last year. However, they figured it out this year, and it took them some time. And Kyrie just looks like a different player. I think my opinion of Kyrie has changed. Before, it looked like he felt he always needed to defend himself, and he had to have this sort of aura around him. And he just seems more relaxed now in Dallas. He's like, it is what it is, man. Shrugs his shoulders, Before, he always seemed like he had to have some sort of comeback, had to have a retort. Always had to say something, right? Yeah. And not anymore. I feel like he's I wouldn't say he's humbled down, because for some to be humbled, something has to happen. I don't think maybe he is a little more humble now, and just from an internal looking way. But any sort of dislike I had of him as a player, as a personality in a locker room, has kind of faded away right now, because he looks like a totally different guy. Right. 100% he's on board with what's going on in Dallas. This is the first time I've seen him like that in his career.
Right.
And like he wasn't like that in Boston. He really wasn't like that in Brooklyn. He always felt like he had to defend something, or they had to, back something up. That's how he felt like in Boston, calling out his teammates. That's how it felt like in Brooklyn. And that's how it felt like when he left Cleveland, left Cleveland and all that stuff. So that feels to me like he's finally found a place he likes to be, or is at least just accepted what is. And I guess that's kind of what I think has allowed the Mavericks to be the best version of themselves, especially come playoff time, because like Kyrie's catching lobs and putting down, like alley-oops, bro. Like who thought we'd ever see him on the receiving end of an alley-oop? And they're playing so much better together. I think he's realized he's a two, which I always thought Kyrie was a two. I didn't like him as a point guard. I thought that, his handles and the way he can create his own shot was very good at the two spot. He needed a true point guard, someone who could facilitate to allow him to play his game, which is why I don't think he fit in a lot of the situations of where he was beforehand. He's just not a one, man. He's a shooting guard. And, I think a lot of people will have a little bit of something to say about that, but look at what he does. He creates his own shot well. He's a great dribbler, and he can get open on his own in ISOs.
Yeah.
That is a two. That's a shooting guard. That's what your shooting guard is supposed to do. Your point guard is a facilitator first, which is why, and Luka can do a lot of the same things, create his own shot and everything like that, but he's consistently looking to get other people involved, which is why he's a better, I guess we call it point forward, right? Than Kyrie was of a point guard.
Right.
So I think they finally figured it out. They know how it's going to work now. They've seen how that is. Kyrie realizes that he's a two and not a one, and that's where it goes. And I'm not saying two is like he's the second best player on his team, which is arguable in the team he's on, but as a two is a position, right? The 1 through 5, he's a two. Right. And that's what allows him to be better. I think the Mavericks got this one. I think that this might be the end of the Clippers and everything they have together. This may be the final hurrah if they don't get out of the first round, where the Clippers organization may move off these guys. Maybe not next year because they're opening their new stadium, so they'll probably keep them together for at least one more season.
Yeah, they got to
run. But after that, it just seems like no matter what they do, health and matchup is always just the worst thing that runs into them when it comes to playoff time.
Yeah, to piggyback off your Kyrie point, he's a Duke guy, so that's why I'm a Duke fan. So I try to be objective as I can, but I always give a little edge to the Duke guys. So, but the thing about Kyrie, he's become a professional. He's embracing the role of being a professional. One of the things we always say, especially when you're in media, leave the political, the religious stuff at home. Stay away from those two areas. That's what he's really realistically has done. He's avoided the antics off the court and that level of commentary, realizing that I can also be the activist I want to be in the community, helping the people without getting into those views. So by him being able to be a professional, now his game gets to shine, and we get to really focus on, wow, he's still one hell of a player, and he is. And I think that, like you said, based off his play style, not really his size, more so his style, he is more of a two, kind of like Iverson. And Luka is definitely MVP candidate. He's the guy that's running the show. Honestly, I think that Dallas, to me, is the favorite to win the series. Honestly, I think they can actually go up 3-1. And the reason why I say that is because I feel like the Clippers, like you said, they had a great year. Injuries, and Kawhi, his knee is not there. You can see, like, he's not himself, even though he did have a nice lob dunk, but his athleticism is not there. They got him on kind of like a minutes restriction. He didn't really play much, especially in the first half of that game. And I think that because of the health issues and Kawhi not being 100% and being that, like I said the Magic and Cavs are the most even. I think this is the second most even series. So when you're going up in a series like that with star power, you need your best player healthy. And I think that because he's not healthy, the Clippers will struggle. And I think I got them losing game 4 and then inevitably the series.
Yeah, it sucks for the Clippers. Like I said, I was a big Clippers believer. I thought this would be the year they put it all together. We finally get to see that, that big 4 go. It's just not going to happen. No. Mavericks are moving on. That's going to be a good matchup, though, in the second round. Thunder Mavericks right there. That's going to be killer. So now we're going to move on to the Timberwolves and Suns. And honestly, I'm so happy the Suns are getting blown out in this because last year I said the Suns weren't going to work. You gave up too much. You didn't have enough depth, and you weren't going to survive. And you know what? They didn't survive. Then you decide we're going to double down. We're going to get Bradley Beal. We still don't have a real point guard. We got a guy who can't stay healthy, and then we got KD, and we got a bunch of other guys. And I was like, that's not going to work. You just took a bad idea and doubled down on a bad idea. And now here you are, 3-0 to the Timberwolves, right? About to get sent home in your own house. You haven't been within 10 points in any game with these guys in this series, and you're about to get sent home. And I think at this point, right, like I think that it would be a little conceited of me to say I called it and they're going to get swept. Right? Yeah. I think they're going to win this game. But if I woke up tomorrow, or if I woke up on the tomorrow, because they play tonight at 8:30 p.m. If I woke up tomorrow and the Suns were eliminated from the playoffs, I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. It's not a surprise to me that they're down 3-0. Some people will be like, oh, they have all this talent. How are they losing to the Timberwolves? Well, it's pretty damn easy. The Timberwolves are one of the best defensive teams in the league, and they play pretty good on the offensive side of the ball too. Right? Like, they have a defensive player, like they technically have two, if you really want to get real about it, two defensive player of the year candidates. And they're all have this dog mentality.
Yep.
And I know like the NBA world like absolutely hates Rudy Gobert.
Right.
And he still talks a little too much for me to like him. But at the end of the day, like we used to call Rudy Gobert the most overhyped defensive player in the league. Like he's just not actually that good. But I mean, he's kind of quieted that a little bit. I mean, he showed up this year, and you could argue that he's playing better defensively because his team around him is playing better defensively, and he's kind of like requires that to be good. He's not like a sole good defensive player. He's definitely a sort of a makeup of all the parts around him. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't change the fact that this team is very, very good, and he's a part of that. And I think that, you think about, Kat and him and Anthony Edwards, they have a very good system. This team has come together and grown a lot over the years. And I feel that the Suns could learn a thing or two. And there's a lot of teams that could learn a thing or two about how the Timberwolves have done this. And one of those teams is possibly the 76ers. When I said they could get rid of Embiid, but they could look at like how the Timberwolves built this team around Kat and how that is the way to do it is you just have to stick it out and go through take your lumps. And the Sixers really haven't had to take a lot of lumps outside of like playoff disappointment.
Oh God!
But the Timberwolves are terrifying, and the Lakers and Nuggets, I think neither one of them want to see the Timberwolves in the second round, but they don't have a choice. Like you're seeing them in the second round, and the Suns, it's over. Like this is done. 2 years in a row. This has not worked, and you get great games from Booker sometimes. You get great games from KD sometimes, and sometimes you get great games from both of them in the same game. And the funny thing is, even when you have that happen, you still lose. Right. What does that tell you? It doesn't work. You got time to make some trades. This experiment, whatever it is, Phoenix, sorry, it's over. You're gonna be bottom seller, like low hanging fruit. Like that's what's gonna happen. Yeah. You're gonna be like just ground foliage right now at the bottom of the league, because you're gonna have to rebuild this team. I think you got to ship everybody out to get as much draft capital as you can, and you have a lot of names that can get you a lot of return. I don't think Bradley Beal's on that list, but you have Booker and you have KD. KD's still a commodity.
Wow.
It's time to sell. It's time to sell.
Booker or KD? Not. Oh man. Well, I agree. I think the Suns definitely were overhyped. And honestly, like the biggest disappointment for me has been, well, actually, the surprise of this is the 3-0. My biggest playoff surprise is I didn't think the T-Wolves would be up 3-0 against the Suns, though I think they would win the series. But to be up 3-0 and then to add to the disappointment side, the Suns, which is KD pretty much, LeBron almost being swept, and then Steph Curry not even making the playoffs, that's just a disappointment. I mean, come on. So LeBron avoided the whole sweep thing. But so now these guys all combined for one playoff win? That is just a disappointment. But to bring it back to the Wolves, because the Suns are done, they definitely might be the best team, or they might have the best opportunity or best chance at beating the Nuggets based off the way the team is constructed. Yes, you're right. Gobert, his limitations are within 10 feet. That drop coverage against the Nuggets on that pick and roll, good luck with that, because Jokic does not have to roll. He can pop out. So I think in those moments, Gobert will be exposed, especially he's nothing on the perimeter, forget about it. But by the basket, he definitely can help. He can block shots. He's someone that is just a paint guy. So because the game has kind of evolved to the point where you don't even have to be in the paint, or you could just be in the high post, right? Shoot over, those guys in the middle. I think that's why the Wolves inevitably will probably lose to the Nuggets, because I think Jokic is going to go crazy, and there's no real answer. Though they do have 3 guys they can Joe on Jokic that are pretty solid defenders. I think that Gobert just being limited to the paint will come back to haunt them. But they definitely also have the best bench, and I'm kind of like skipping through the Suns series because it's over. I think that if a matchup with the Nuggets, the bench favors Minnesota. So the non-Jokic minutes, I think if Minnesota can dominate those, like plus 10, plus 12, every time Jokic is not on the floor, hey, they might could upset the apple cart. But I think that the Wolves, like you said, the way they built that team, they have been the best team, and I see them a defensive team. And I see them continuing this path. Well, it probably won't be this year, because I think the Nuggets is probably going to be the favorite. But in the next couple of years, the Wolves will be in the finals, right? Or or a crazy Western Conference battle between them and OKC. It's very interesting. But yeah, definitely the Wolves will take this series against the Suns. The Suns are done. Get them out of here.
The Wolves needed like a Kristaps, a guy who can play on the perimeter, drop, still a good rim protector, do all the things. That's what they're missing. If Gobert could evolve his game into like a Kristaps Porzingis type role, a big guy, tall, lanky rim protector that also has the ability to step out on the perimeter, shoot a 3, play good defense, good lateral motion, he would be substantially better. I think that's kind of what, some of these guys' biggest limitations are, is that they've never had to play that way. And, you step into the NBA where everyone shoots a 3 now. It's the same reason why I think Zach Edey out of Purdue doesn't have a place in the NBA. The guy is a pure rim protector in the mold of a Rudy Gobert, and in a drop coverage, everyone in the NBA can shoot over him. And so it just doesn't make sense. And then Rudy Gobert, it's the dying age of your prototypical center is what it is. And, it's sad. Everyone's like, how would Shaq play in today's league? If Shaq learned to shoot a 3, and we've seen him knock down 3-point shots, he can do it. He just wasn't asked to. No. Right? I think Shaq would be able to play. Hakeem Olajuwon would still be viable in today's league, because of his athleticism. But there's a lot of guys that just wouldn't make it. Yeah. And we're talking Hall of Fame level guys that would not make it. Right. We're going to move on to the final series. And it's another series that just looks like it's over. I mean,
it's a wash.
The Lakers have been trying to find some way to help LeBron and AD, and at the end of the day, they got no help. I don't know if you saw the other day, there was I think it was like 3 or 4 days ago, the Lakers are in a huddle, right? And they're losing to the Nuggets, and their whole team's huddling, and you got fucking D'Angelo Russell sitting over there picking hair off of a sticker or some shit. I don't know what the fuck it was. And it's just like, bro, you're not even, like, you're in the fucking playoffs right now. This isn't fucking game 42. This is a playoff game. And you're not even involved in the fucking huddle? Like, it doesn't, like, people who are hurt in suits, in street clothes,
facts,
are paying more attention to the huddle than you are, and you were playing 12 minutes ago. Like, what are we doing?
It's crazy.
Like I've never, like, I wish I could get away with shit like that in my day job, where just like everyone's like having a meeting and I'm over there just like twiddling my thumbs playing fucking, Candy Crush on my phone, while everyone else is having a serious meeting about like what we're doing, is we're like heading towards like delivering this whole like job that we got hired to do, and we're like right about to present it, and I'm sitting there, whether or not we're going to win the contract or whatever it is, we're going to be able to make all this money, and I'm over there fucking playing Candy Crush, like, yeah, 4 reds, like, who gives a shit? Like, get your fucking head in the game. D'Angelo Russell, if there was a video that ever like, or like an image of somebody who ever like just totally got tanked, it's D'Angelo Russell's I don't give a fuck attitude. It's literally on a level of Ben Simmons at this point. And I think that D'Angelo Russell should be out of the league, should play with the Guangdong Tigers, whatever the fuck they're called, and he can go not give a fuck over there. Because if you're a Lakers fan and you saw that image, you should be rioting outside of his house right now. He should be on a plane anywhere else but to Denver or in LA. Like, the guy obviously doesn't care. He doesn't want to be there. He doesn't want to play basketball for the Lakers in the playoffs, which is every little kid's dream, right? Let's be real.
Right.
If you were growing up, you imagine yourself in a Lakers jersey, shooting, saying Kobe, for a game winner. That was what you did. Or you were in a Jordan jersey, saying, game winners, against you. That's who you are. And he's living that dream, playing for a historical franchise that has, the second, hopefully by the end of this year, the second most championships in the league. and that's what he's doing. And he doesn't even give a shit. Even give a shit. He's already like, we lost. Or and if that's the mentality too, get him out of there even more, because I don't need loser mentality on my playoff team. I don't think he should play. I think he should sit. I don't even think he should be in the fucking building after that. And if LeBron allows him to be, like, that's just terrible. But the Nuggets were exactly what were doing exactly what we thought they were. They're coast. They didn't give a shit about the 1 seed, the 2 seed, or the 3 seed. They just wanted to make sure that they had home court for until the Western Conference Finals, because they didn't give a shit. Right. They knew when they had to turn it on, and they turned it on right now. Jamal Murray is playoff Murray, just like we thought he was. That's playoff Jamal, Bill Murray right there. Yeah. Facts. And Jokic is Jokic. Aaron Gordon's Aaron Gordon. It's who they're going to be. And the Nuggets, it just you can't defend. Very few teams are set up to defend when the center is playing at the top of the key and everyone else is everywhere else. Yeah, it's not normal. Like, no, it's not. If you're a one, right? You play the point guard spot, and you have to. You're no longer, your point guard is a shooting guard. You're not equipped realistically to handle that style of play, because they're going to be bigger, right? And then your 5 is a 1 hybrid who's 7 foot, right? So now your center, who's used to guarding, guys who shoot intermediate ranges, bodying up Embiid, things like that. He's got to come out and play laterally with a guy who handles the ball very well, can shoot off any platform and be deadly at any point in time. And he's just going to do it nonchalantly, and and that's what he's going to do. So the Nuggets are a matchup nightmare. Facts. You got just so much talent. They do things totally backwards from how every other team does it, because their center is their point. And, it's insane. And like I said, there's very few teams that have the size at all 5 spots to match up and play that way. I think the Celtics are one of the teams who have the prototype there with Kristaps is going to be able to go out there, but he doesn't have the size, I'd say, to really body Jokic and all those sorts of things. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all works out for them. But the Lakers, I think that they don't have the right people. And I think that they kind of went for people they thought could help Anthony Davis and LeBron, be competitive in the league. But what they should have done is they should have went and got people who could have helped LeBron and AD beat the Nuggets. Yeah. And that's what they didn't do.
No. Yeah. Everything you said was on the money. I mean, we've been talking about the Nuggets a lot, I guess, because they're probably, in our minds, the favorite to win. The Lakers are the most disappointing team in terms of it took them 4 games to figure out rest LeBron enough in the third quarter to give him the energy to go the fourth, because you've been getting killed in the second half. The first 3 games, at least by game 3, you should see, you know what? They honestly have been killing us in the second half. We should preserve LeBron for a fourth quarter run, so that way he can score like he did 14 points or whatever he would score to help them neutralize any efforts from Denver from coming back. The Lakers waited too long to make this a series. Honestly, the Lakers could have extended this to 6 games, maybe not 7, but 6 games had they make that tweak. It's a shame that it took them this long to figure out, have a fresh LeBron going into the fourth, so that way he can offset, because I'm pretty sure the plus minus is night and day when he's not on the floor. I don't know the exact number, but and then this game was just ego and pride. When you look at game 4, they lost 11 straight games to this team. To be honest, I thought that they would just, they had injuries. We're going to sit out because the series is over. You already conceded 3-0. So that to me was just an ego and pride thing. I think that the Lakers are done. They're cooked. They're probably worse off than the Warriors, who also have a lot of question marks as to which they should do. I mean, the Lakers, your best player right now, he's on the verge of retirement. At least Steph Curry has at least 3 or 4 more years. LeBron could decide at any point, you know what? It's over. It's done. I'm done. Right. And then now what you're going to do? You know, you have Anthony Davis, but then you got a whole bunch of other guys who are not really that reliable to do anything going forward. The Lakers, they're done. I just hate that they waited so long to make it a series because they were playing so well in the first half of all the games. So, but the Nuggets, like you said, they're probably the only team that can get away with turning it on at any time. And because like you said, Jokic at that 5 spot, who's really a 1 in the way the offense is set up, most centers are not perimeter centric on the defensive end. So he takes advantage of, because his IQ is smart, whether he's scoring, he's also a threat to pass. So that's the other caveat. AD has been playing amazing, 33 and 10 plus rebounds. I'm not sure the exact stat for the whole series, looking like the MVP for the Lakers in that series. But at the same time, Jokic is giving you probably a higher points, rebound, assist number because, yeah, it's points, rebounds for big guys, but Jokic adds the assist dynamic to the fold, and he's getting over 10 assists. So it's so hard to defend that. And I think that, you know, the Nuggets, their bench is their weakness to me. I don't like their bench at all. And the non-Jokic minutes is how you can help you beat the Nuggets. So we'll see going forward. I think that the Wolves may have to, in the next round, go with Naz Reid more, because I think Naz Reid probably would be more better fit to defend Jokic at the top of the key. But he probably gets cooked too. I think anybody gets cooked. It's Jokic at the end of the day.
Right.
But I would be interested to see, because the Wolves also have the athleticism and size, you know, and from the forward standpoint, because I know the Nuggets got the big forwards. So we'll see. But I do have the Nuggets as the favorite.
It's going to be interesting, but I mean, there were surprises up and down. You know, I was surprised, you know, the Lakers didn't make this more competitive. I guess surprised that the Wolves have made it so uncompetitive.
Right. And that's the biggest surprise.
You know, the Magic, how they're in a 2-2 tie, that was a surprise to me. I still think OKC, I thought the Pelicans would get 1 game on them. They still might, but they're like, the West is way more surprising to me right now than everything else that has been happening just about anywhere else outside of the Magic. Like I kind of expected, you know, Philly not to do much. The Bucks, you know, I figured the Pacers would beat them, so I'm not surprised they're losing.
Right.
You know, there are certain things that are happening in this playoffs that just surprised the hell out of me and everything like that. But that is all we have time for today. Thank you for tuning into the Brick House. I hope you liked our West breakdown. I hope you liked our East breakdown. We are going to be tracking this playoffs, the NBA playoffs, the entire time. Hopefully, your next episode will have some round 2 projections for you and predictions for you as well. Let us know in the comments, what do you think the biggest surprise was of this first round so far? Who do you think is going to come out and make it to round 2? And do any of the teams that are currently in a hole in the series have a chance to climb out? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe on all of our social media platforms, as well as check out all of the other House Call offerings on YouTube and Instagram. We will be back here on the Brick House. Thank you. Have a good day.
All right.